When Idaho State alum Jared Allen looks back on his football career, he can honestly say he gave the game everything he had, and he has the resume to prove it. He was the conference's first recipient of the Buck Buchanan Award. He's a member of the Big Sky Hall of Fame's inaugural class, and this summer he'll head to Canton, where he'll be enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. However, when he thinks about all he's accomplished in the sport, there is one thing that makes him the most proud: getting to do it all his own way.
And Stafford is sacked by Jared Allen, and a loss inside the 5.
Cobb goes down in the arms of Jared Allen.
First and foremost, congratulations on being a member of the 2025 Pro Football Hall of Fame class. What was your reaction when you found out you were being inducted?
Oh, relief, I think, as my fifth year as a finalist, you kind of start getting that mindset of it's going to happen this year. It's got to happen this year. I had a good idea that this would be the year. I guess I just couldn't come up with any more valid reasons why they'd keep me out.
This is not your first time being inducted into a Hall of Fame. You were part of the Big Sky's inaugural Hall of Fame class. You were enshrined in the Vikings Ring of Honor back in 2022. What is the secret to your success at all the different stages of your career?
Oh, I think it's never being satisfied. I think it's always having a chip on my shoulder, always trying to outdo myself from the year before, and just an unrelenting work ethic. And I'm never afraid to work. I'm never afraid to do whatever it takes to get the task done. And, I'm very, very goal oriented in that aspect of, when I set goals, I'll do anything to achieve them. And that's just kind of the mindset I've always had. And, obviously couple that with the gifts that God blessed me with, from just height, weight, physical gifts. And then, like I said, but I think the biggest thing is just that mentality and the self-belief and the self-confidence, knowing that if I work hard enough, I can accomplish anything. And so that's kind of always been my mindset. And I think that's been the key to my success.
You're talking about the chip on your shoulder. You played FCS football. A lot of FCS players carry that same mindset that they were overlooked and they need to work harder for things. How did your time at Idaho State prepare you for that success in the NFL?
I've had great coaches. First off, I've had great coaches at every stop of my career, from Pop Warner up to high school, college, and the pros. So I think that in alone was first and foremost. Second of all, I think you hear all the time that you're playing lower competition, you're playing this, you're playing this, blah 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 blah. And so it wears on you, and you kind of get pissed off, and you're like, I want to prove everybody wrong. At least I did, right? So I think that helps. And then I just think, lessons I learned from Idaho State, like you said, via my coaches, it's pushing through tough times. You really got to go through some adversity in your career. I was planning to be a Pac-10 player. I ended up at 1AA. All that stuff, and really just then realizing where you're at, what you're trying to accomplish, try to accomplish everything you can in the place you're at, and let that springboard you to the next level. So I tried to soak up as much technique as I could from my coaches. When the scouts are coming through, ask a bunch of questions, and then just present yourself in a confident manner. And every time we got to play 1A schools, I tried to, put my best foot forward. So I really think, the FCS schools they teach you to persevere, right? Because you're always getting that night. You always feel like the little brother to the FBS schools. And so, I wanted to prove everybody wrong.
You did prove people wrong. You were a two-time All-American, the Big Sky's first Buck Buchanan Award winner, fourth round draft pick, four-time first team All-Pro. Just name, a handful of your accomplishments. Hall of Fame aside, both Big Sky and pro football, when you think back of what you've accomplished in your career, what makes you the most proud?
Oh, man, the most proud, from a football standpoint is, I got to do it my own way, right? Sometimes I chose the road less traveled by my own fruition, sometimes by my own choices. But I think I'm most proud of is how I played the game. I really think I can look back and honor those guys. I used to watch 100 Toughest Men before every Friday football game, in kind of high school, or the NFL's 100 Toughest Men. And I think if those guys were to go back and watch my film, they would say I played the game the right way. That they would say that I had an old school mentality. That I played for the love of the game. I played for the passion. I enjoy hitting people. I enjoy tackling people. I love the game of football. So that's what I think I'm most proud of, is how I played, and the fact that I was never cut. Any trade when I was traded, it was all because I asked to be traded, got to go to a team I wanted. That's probably what I'm most proud of in my career, and is that I never settled. I never felt like I arrived. A lot of people, they get to college, and that was their goal. And then, they coast through, they get the degree, whatever, and they go, or they get to the NFL, they get drafted. Well, guess what? They met their life's goal, and so they don't really know what else to do. I just kept setting new goals and kept trying to achieve newer or higher heights, and it all worked out.
People obviously remember how you've played. You're an NFL or you're a Hall of Fame player. However, they also remember your Sunday night football intros.
Jared Allen, Joshua Burns Preschool. Jared Allen, homeschooled. Thanks, Bob. Jared Allen, Culinary Academy.
How did you come up with the creative
Oh,
school?
we were bored in training camp. We used to do those back in training camp when training camp was 6 weeks long. We would just, make stuff up. And a lot of times it was the vets just telling me to do something funny. So, when you're the younger player, you got to listen. So a lot of it just making crap up. And it's funny how people take everything at face value. The amount of letters I got thanking me for bringing attention to homeschooling. The fact that people still think my wife and I met at Culinary Academy. Never went to Culinary Academy. I like to cook, but I never went to Culinary Academy. So yeah, all sorts of some goofy things. Just being bored in training camp.
How many letters did you get reprimanding you for not saying Idaho State?
Not too many. They would ask me to say it so I hit him with the Idaho State one year. We had a few ADs at the time, so we were going through them kind of quickly, so I wasn't too beholden to any of them. But yeah, every once in a while, Donna Hayes would be like, "Can you just say Idaho State? It might make us a little easier for us to recruit and get some money flowing in this way."
Speaking of Idaho State, you don't know current head coach Cody Hawkins personally. You have spoken to him on the phone a few times. What do you think of what he's doing in his short tenure at Idaho State so far?
So far, I'm excited. I remember when we interviewed him. I was on those calls, and I really liked his philosophy. I liked his demeanor. I liked, where he was going. Like, young, enthusiastic coach with, I think, trying to build culture the right way. But I think what I like most about him is that I think he has a long view. Now, at the end of the day, you got to win football games. You got to win the right football games, right? One of the things he said in the interview, he's like, we got to learn how to win. We've had so many years before that. Basically, we weren't winning anything, maybe 1 or 2 games a year. So for him to come in and to be stacking, slowly building on those wins and winning some bigger games and competing in some bigger games, I think that's a testimony to what he's trying to build. So I think he's heading in the right direction.
It's been about 10 years, a little less than 10 years since you officially retired from the NFL, even longer since your college days. What do you miss most about putting on that helmet and going to work every day?
Oh, believe me, I don't miss a darn thing. I really don't. I gave everything I had to this game. And so, I guess you miss the game. Games are always fun, right? You miss the enjoyment of doing a craft that you love really, really well. But I don't yearn to be out there. I don't ever think, oh, I could have done this. You know what? I did it. I gave 12 solid years of the pros. Again, 4 great years at Idaho State, and all the years previous to that, I played every year since I was 8 years old. So that was 25 years of total football, nonstop for me. So I was good. I was ready to walk away. Really, I don't. I like to go back and talk shop with some of the old guys when I run into them every once in a while, and we'll talk about the good, the old days. But more so, we're talking technique or breaking this person down. I love passing advice on to young players, but I'm fully okay with my time being over and letting these kids, have at it. Because Monday to Saturday sucks. Sunday was always fun, but Monday to Saturday gets rough.
You went from the Big Sky to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. What is your advice to those players who hope to be where you are one day?
My advice to people is to dream big, right? Set lofty goals and then go attain them and put the work in. Nothing is going to fall in your lap. And, football, and just like sports, but football is one of those sports. What you put into it, you will get out of it. The more film you watch, the more time you spend at mastering your craft, technique, weight room, and all that plays a certain aspect, but eventually you're fast, eventually you're strong, eventually you're that. So it's really the mental, it's really the technique, it's really all those small in-game things that take over. And that's my advice to people. Be honest with yourself, be a tough self-scout, be willing to work on your what you're not good at, accept those coaching, and then work tireless at it because it'll pay dividends in the end.
Well, Jared, thank you for your time and congratulations once again on all your accomplishments. Looking forward to you getting that gold jacket in August.